Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, as always, I'd like to start off giving all honor, glory, infinite praise, and worship to our power. YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, RAWCHAA, HAQADASH. Double honors to our apostle, Elder Bishop, Great Millstone. We will teach you in sound doctrine. Strong shalom to the hopeful elect. The rest of the 144,000, the rest of the large multitude of men, women, and children. The Lord will have mercy on these last days, perilous days, many dangerous days that we currently living in through the spirit and power of YAHWASHI. And it is, in fact, dangerous days, and in fact, dangerous times we are living in. Through the spirit, I just wanted to go through the spirit, wherever the spirit was going to lead me. I'm not going to be long, but I was checking out this information. Lord willing, I'm going to name this Hard Times Ahead, What Say You? Because that's one of the things that was stated in this video. I'm going to start it from about... I'm going to start it from about here. Now, this comes from President Trump gave a speech. I don't know if it was today or yesterday, but one of these last couple of days, or if not today, about his 100 days being in office. Okay, and a big question came up about the time we living in. What does this mean based off statements you have said? And I've said this myself, heard him say it, quoted it, right, about the times we living in, man. He said, hey, it's going to sting. That's some of his words that he used. Hey, the times we live in, it's going to sting, man. Okay? Let me play this.
You said...
Bear with me.
News on if Americans should expect hard times. Let's take a quick listen. You said concerning the tariffs, which economists say are going to raise prices, you said, quote, hang tough. It won't be easy. You said that to the American people. Is that what Americans should expect, some hard times?
I've said that during my campaign. Look, we won a campaign by a lot. We won all 7 swing states. We won the popular vote by a lot. You know, we had a tremendous campaign. I said all of these things during my campaign. I said, you're going to have a transition period. We've been ripped off by every country all over the world. They're laughing at us. They thought we were stupid people, and we were. And I said, that's not going to happen. We're not going to let that happen.
Hard times are ahead?
I don't think so. I think great times are ahead.
Mr. Ansana, hard times ahead, good times ahead. What say you, sir?
I think we'll go with hard times ahead for 1,000, Michael. Look, I think, and not to make light of this, I mean, we're already getting indications that the economy is slowing down. We're going to get first quarter GDP numbers tomorrow that may show that the economy contracted even before all of this tariff activity started. And while there's some hints that deals are in the works with either India or Japan or some other Asian country, we know that ships from China are coming this way either with very little on board, or that port activity around the West Coast, whether it's Seattle, Los Angeles, or Long Beach, is very, very thin. And we could see, according to some economists, almost pandemic-like shortages within the next couple of months if this tariff and trade war continues. So my bet is hard times ahead, certainly in the short run. Whether or not they reverse course and do something to take the strains off the economy that are due to come remains an open question.
All right, and I'm gonna jump till about this.
Worried about empty shelves because
To Scott Bessent today on the idea that folks, maybe they shouldn't be worried about all of this. Let's take a quick listen.
Are you worried about empty shelves? Because they say that a lot of these, the supply lines and the cargo ships are being held up. A lot of people are saying, turn it around. With the tariffs this high, I don't want the product. Are you worried about empty shelves?
Not at present. We have some great retailers. I assume they pre-ordered. I think we'll see some elasticities. I think we'll see replacements. And then we will see how quickly the Chinese want to de-escalate.
Right, so these niggas is delusional. Okay. They know exactly what they're doing. In order to bring a new system, you got to crash it first. There's no other way. Can't bring a new system in on top of what was already here. You got to get rid of this system first. Okay? Okay. You don't want to contradict yourself either. So it got to be a better way without contradicting itself. All right, let's bring this better way in to help aid the results of this versus them coming right in with it and it being confused as weakness. Okay, so he had just said something. He said, "Excuse me, big women, I'm kind of under the weather. Let me see. Hold on, just a little bit."
Ships are being held up. A lot of people are saying, turn it around. With the tariffs this high, I don't want the product. Are you worried about empty shelves?
Not at present. We have some great.
Are you worried about empty shelves? Not at present. He's talking about not at present, right? He didn't say yes or no. He said not right now. Of course, nigga, it could happen in a week. Of course, it's not right now. Some of them actually is right now, right? The ones they not reporting on. Excuse me.
Retailers, I assume they pre-ordered. I think we'll see some elasticity.
Talking about pre-ordering. Hey, you can only do that so long. If no one's breaking nothing in, you can only do that for so long. At some point, it's going to stop. Everything's going to come to a stoppage.
I think we'll see replacements, and then we will see how quickly the Chinese want to de-escalate.
He said we'll see the replacement as if these business owners, these small business owners, were just going to adjust, to just adjust. Oh, okay, I can't sell this product, even though this product been making the best product I have in my business, but it's not coming in no more, so I just go to a different product. No, bro, it's not gonna work like that, bro. These businesses gonna get shut down again. You have something called, let me see if I can find it real quick. Alright. Right, I often mention this term, zombie stores, okay? You got a lot of these stores are zombie stores, okay? It says zombie stores is AI overview. Generally refers to businesses, often in the retail or finance sector, that are struggling or on the verge of failure, but are kept afloat by external factors like government support or low interest loans. They may be profitable enough to technically stay open, but are not sustainable in the long term and are considered to be walking dead. And that's what a lot of these stores are, because they all are backed by loans. Majority of them are. You think they're not, but a lot of these are, right? America's filled with greed, and a lot of these owners allows the money and the loan to eat itself. Instead of paying, it might have had $100,000 loan. Don't nobody want to just pay $100,000 back right away, because they're trying to establish other foundational sectors around whatever, right? So a lot of these businesses are backed by just nothing but loans, and these loans go to the central banks, or I'm gonna say these loans. A lot of these loans go to the banks, the local banks, or the banks within distance. Okay, some major, some low, and then those banks are connected to the central banks, which they're also backed by loans. So once the store can't pay, once the store can't pay the loan to the bank don't receive its money. And then once the bank don't receive its money, it can't pay the central bank. And then that bank get closed down as well as the store get closed down. That's what happened in 2020 with the Slimmic. A lot of these zombie stores closed fast. These small business owners closed fast. Because why? A lot of that, it was the chain of command, was the domino effect. Nobody could pay the next one that they owed, and therefore they had to close. Okay? So, it's hard times ahead for sure. Okay? Hard times ahead for sure. Scriptures say, Second Timothy 3:1. This know also, that in the last days perilous times shall come. So you can understand. Of course. It's all good. Let's get it here. They can't stop. They can't stop my shine. They can't stop our shine. 2 Timothy 3. because the etymology app not working. In the NLT, 2 Timothy 3:1, you should know this, Timothy, that in the last days there will be very difficult times. And these times are going to be very, very difficult. Perilous, hard to bear, troublesome, hard to do, to take, to approach, dangerous, harsh, fierce, savage. Okay, dangerous times. The idea of reducing the strength. All right, and the strength is the economy's financial structure. That's the strength, which put food on the shelves, which feed the bellies of the people. All right, which continue households and people's smiles and things. You know. Let's get that word difficult. See what that's saying in the NLT. Same thing. Same thing. Same word. Okay. And we are in fact in these last days. The Lord told us these things. He told us what to look for, the signs and different things. Okay. It's the second Esdras 9:1. He said, answer me then and said, start at 2 Esdras 8:63. Behold, O Lord, now hast thou showed me the multitude of the wonders which thou would begin to do in the last times. But at what time thou hast not shown me? He answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself. And that's what we've been doing, constantly watching the videos, constantly watching the news and the interviews and this, that, and the third. That's the diligence that the Lord is talking about. All right. Watching. Always watching. Okay. So that we won't get caught unaware. It says, and when thou seest part of the signs pass, and that's what we're seeing, which I have told thee before. Same thing he already told us. He said, before they spring forth, I would tell you of them. Okay? Talking about these prophecies. Okay? In which we're waiting on the final prophecies, the MOTB, which we're about to get ready to experience being pushed in this country. Lord willing, this year. They're talking about a couple months for this. Talking about a couple months for that. Talking about a couple weeks for this. A couple weeks for that. We had the blackout. Okay. Okay. Across these different countries, right? We had the blackout, which all these things are happening right on time, you know. Then shalt thou understand that it's the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made, which is evidence that YAHWASHI is in the midst. Therefore, when there should be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. Why? For like as all that is made in the world have a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest. So these different tariffs and these different things that Trump is doing is all a part of fulfilling prophecy. Okay? When you type in, ooh, that's fire, bro. Listen to this. It says, oh man, Trump is definitely NERO, bro. Listen to this. It says, the second reason often preferred is that I'm gonna start up here. Yes, Nero did want to rebuild and expand Rome, like as Trump. The Great Fire of Rome in 64 AD provided him with an opportunity to do so. And he initiated large-scale reconstruction projects, including the construction of his lavish golden house, according to the British Museum. And I just did a lesson on this the other day. It's right here. Hello. Right here. Can you smell what the Trump is cooking? Okay. Did a lesson on that. All right. Because in what? He's in gold. Because why? You click on it. It says gold card.
Shut up.
Gold card, one step closer. So, gold card, one step closer. So, yeah, man. The gold card. Look at this. A golden house. Come on, man. It's the same person, man. Okay. It says, and that's what Trump is doing. That's what his tariffs is. He has a plan. He has a organized plan to try to rebuild America. Let me see. Now, and that's what Trump is trying to do. It says Domus Aurea. Nero's golden at the top. Nero's golden house, in quotation, was a massive, opulent palace built after the fire, designed to be one of the most extravagant residences in this ancient world, according to BBC. It is said to have covered a significant portion of the city. But this is likened into America. America, he's trying to make it because America is his home instead of just one little, just Rome, and then you got America is all of America is one big city. All of America is one big city, right? City is civilians, synonymous, the people. 10th part of the city fails, talking about America, the 10 FEMA regions, and so this is just one big city, right? The traffic, and it's listen, the scriptures goes into this place being just one big city, right? And this is Trump's house. This is the Edomite's house, his current resident. And he's trying to make it gold. He's trying to build a golden house. He's trying to bring in a gold card like I just showed you. The gold card that I did a lesson on. He's trying to bring in, they had a statue of him in gold, right? And he's bringing in his new plans to make America great again. He's trying to put a globe, he's trying to put a dome over America, man. Okay? And it says, let's see, second reason often preferred is that Nero wanted to rebuild Rome according to his own plans, which included a sumptuous new residence for himself, the Golden House, Domus Aurea. There is a modern myth that the new palace was built slowly for parties and orgies. Probably, man. Okay. Said, why did Nero want to rebuild Rome? Nero was motivated to destroy the city so he would be able to bypass the Senate and rebuild Rome in his image. And that's what Trump is doing. Right? Going past the Senate, bypassing the Senate, what's written in the so-called Constitution and different things and such. That's what these tariffs is about. And executive orders. Executive order. Let me see. What is a executive order? This ChatGPT. An executive order is an official directive issued by the President of the United States or governor at the state level that manages operations of the government. It has the force of law but doesn't require approval from Congress. You see, he can make a law on the spot without the approval of Congress. Congress is the Senate. Let's see. What is considered the Senate? There you go. The Senate is one of the two chambers of the United States Congress. See, it just said law, but it says it has the force of law, but doesn't require approval from Congress. So it's saying don't have approval from the Senate. The Senate is one of the two chambers of the United States Congress, the other being the House of Representatives, is part of the legislative branch of the federal government and is responsible for making and passing laws. You see? So he make laws on the spot and go right past them. And that's what you read it here. Nero says Nero was motivated to destroy the city so he would be able to bypass the Senate and rebuild Rome in his image. So he wanted to go past the Senate. See? So there you go. Says, so yeah, this man is definitely Nero for sure. Let me screenshot these. They changed shit up on here. Let me screenshot these, bear with me. So yeah, man, it's about to get crazy, So The second address. Also made mention about let me read this first. Second address 15 and 14. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and destruction draweth nigh, meaning it's near. Why would the sword and destruction be near? Because it's gonna be everyone's gonna be deprived of something that kept them going, you know, and it's gonna convert them into doing things they normally wouldn't do, okay, just to maintain in that somewhat form of that. All right, it could be just waking up every day and living for a child that or whatever. You know, when you don't got something, you willing to take somebody else's, especially if it comes to life or death. And you see, and one of the they got a term called what it mean when someone is hangry. Means that they're feeling irritable or angry because they're hungry. Okay? It's a blend of the words hungry and anger. Hunger can cause drops in blood sugar, which may affect mood and make people more likely to snap or feel frustrated. You see, these people blood sugar is going to drop and they're going to be irritable because these people is doped up with all these sugars and shit. You know, once they ain't getting doped up by this food no more, they're going to have withdrawals and they're going to have moods are going to be crazy. And one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands, for there shall be sedition, right, and uprising, all right, a riot, a tumult, right, an angry uprising among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. A man shall desire going to a city and shall not be able, and they just signed that executive order, all right, dealing with, let me see. And as you can see, it's April 29th. Okay, 25 a.m. Donald Trump's New World sparks martial law concerns. They're calling it his new world. Okay, he's going to be one of the faces to be responsible for bringing in the new world. He's the ultimate example of pride. Right? Who can do it better than this man? If someone can do it better than him, like shit, man. I don't be past this devil, man, but this devil is pretty damn perfect. And when it comes to displaying this devil, what a devil looks like, you know, fullest extent. It says DJ has ordered federal agencies to increase the flow of military and national security equipment to local law enforcement. A move that has raised concerns about the militarization of policing across the United States. You see, it says why it matters. Research into militarized police forces has found the practice can erode public trust. You see that? So now these people, they know they really can't trust on the GOV, all right, or his military, which is including the police and his military. You know, they really that you know, that's why they take matters and take it on. Yeah, we just said, shit, I didn't mean to do that. It says the course of their actions shall stand in their power, because they not gonna have they trust themselves. In the times we come into, you can't trust nobody, not even law enforcement, because they all gonna be on one mind and one accord. So you weed out the weaklings. That's not about force of the American way, and you bring the ones that is about the American way on duty to uphold, you know, the statutes and force that's implemented, regardless of the fact, whether on U.S. soil or overseas, whenever it's issued by the president, because he's the chief or the general of the army, and he issues out the orders. Research into militarized police forces, and also the second in command in the military is that dude, forget his name. I always forget his name. The dude with the crosses on his chest and the tattoo on his arm, on his inside his bicep. But we know those tattoos he got goes back to the Knights Templar. Okay, it goes back to Catholicism, and it goes back to being dedicated to the cause. That's what a knight is. A knight is dedicated to the cause. He's dedicated to the fight for whatever reason, for the people, or for the queen or the king, or whoever he serves. Give me a cup. A cup so I can pour it in. It says research, why it matters. Research into militarized police forces has found the practice can erode public trust, escalate encounters between police and citizens, and it said escalate, you see that, and blur the distinction between military operations and domestic law enforcement. Okay. It says that, I'm gonna read this last part. Executive order specifically has increased fears around an encroachment toward martial law. The president has already called for his government to review the Insurrection Act, which will give more domestic power to the military, and now wants to provide more regular law enforcement with militaristic material. Like the one brother mentioned, he said, why you think all these, damn, the water. Why you think all these cop cars are all blacked out now? They're not like they used to be. They're all blacked out. You know what I'm saying? They are already militarized. They are already black hawked, if you will, you know? So that's what we're reading here. 2 Corinthians 15 and 17, man should desire to go into a city and should not be able, because you're going to have to need. Why do you think he signed it now? There's no coincidences, bro. The shelves is empty now. This was signed yesterday. Today the 29th. Today the 30th. It was signed yesterday. So, you know, a man should desire to go into a city and should not be able, for because of their pride, the city should be troubled. The houses should be destroyed, and men should be afraid, because these people don't expect this to happen. These people hear it. Oh, that's been talking about since voodoo, right? Bill Cosby was young as hell when this shit was talked about to some people. You know, niggas, they like, oh, that's been my grandma. You know, they put it off. That's the scripture say, right? The scripture, and then the scriptures say, put out all day to day. You know, you supposed to take every day as if it's the last, man. Right? The scriptures say that when I was thinking about, since the father fell asleep, where's the promise of his coming? Oh, they been talking about that, girl. Right. But because of their pride, the city should be troubled. That's what Jacob's trouble. We're about to enter into Jacob's trouble. Shit, Apostle Toro was just even talking about that. Shit, brothers should have at least something to be able to kickstart the momentum, man. Obviously, we're going to put our trusts in none of these tangible things that's going to last us only a short period of time, but a wise man will have some type of preparity to him on mainly spiritual, mostly spiritual, and a little physical. Okay? You know, and that's what we do, you know, as men, you know, because it's about to come, man. We're going to be faced, some brothers going to be faced with neighbors. Some brothers going to be faced with all type of different shit. We don't know how it's going to go. But these niggas, you better believe we're going to be in the midst of these prophecies, bro. Because the scripture talking about the hour of temptation. Revelations 3, we all going to be tested. And that's the great hour of tempting. 2 Corinthians 15 and 18, for because of 19, a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor. He not going to care that he grew up on the same street. He raised his family. You raised your family across the street. He knew you for 15 years. That nigga don't care about none of that, bro. On that movie, Leader World Behind, he said, bro, that's the old way. He said, that's the old way, my nigga. Nigga said, he was confused, like, bro, you my friend. Nah, nigga, that's the old man. That was the old way. Right now, it's a new way of going. You either turn around or you become food. That's how these people gonna act. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but it shall destroy their houses with the sword, and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. You see, that's what we just read. Difficult times. One of the words it said in perilous, it says troublesome. See that? Troublesome. And that's what's gonna happen for great tribulation, a great disturbance, a great shaking, you know. So yeah. 2 16 and 14, behold, the plagues are sent and shall not return again until days shall come upon the earth. You see? 17, woe is me who will deliver me in those days. You see? Because the days we're coming into are going to be so dark. You know, so dark. They say that righteous shall be scarcely saved. The beginning of sorrows and great mournings, the beginning of famine and great death. Famine meaning scarcity of something. It's going to be food, but it's going to be a scarcity of food. Rations. That's why people are going to be entering other homes. Doomsday preppers weren't prepping for themselves. They were prepping for the prophets. Okay. The beginning of wars, you know, that's a lesson. The beginning of wars and then the powers shall stand in their fear. And fear in the beginning of evils, meaning bad times. Evil meaning ill meaning bad. Bad times. Compound word, what shall I do when these evils shall come? The ones that's going to be prayed up, embedded in the bosom of that light. YAHAWASHI says, behold, famine and plague, tribulation, and anguish are sent as scourges for a minute. And these things that's coming are sent as a correction because the world we live in is evil. The world we live in is corrupt. You know, and the judgments that's coming, these are all judgments. These things are done so that why? Righteousness can remain true. Because if these things were not checked, therefore righteousness wouldn't be true. Okay? But righteousness is true, so therefore a judgment has to come. Okay? For either, that's the same Revelation 22. Alright? To reward them according to their work should be. You see? Whether good or bad. You see? Righteousness remains true. The reward is, and he said that to Cain. Alright? YAHAWASHI said that to Cain in Genesis. He said, if you do good, should you not receive good? Or something to that effect. In Genesis 4. Genesis 4 and 7. If thou doest well, shalt thou not be accepted? You see, because that's the result of righteousness. It's gonna give you the true result, regardless of what anything. Regardless, it's gonna be true. Okay, it's gonna give you the answer based off what was fed to it. If thou doest well, shalt thou not be accepted, and if thou doest not well, sin lieth at the door, and unto thee shall be his desire, and thou shalt rule over him. See? So if you desire in YAHAWASHI, the result is righteous. The result is good. The result is life. Anything else is death. So your reward is true. Whatever you give your heart to. Says, so these amendments are judgments. Okay, these corrections upon the earth that's coming are judgments from YAHAWASHI. Behold, victuals should be so good, cheap upon the earth. They shall think themselves to be in good case, and even then shall evils grow upon earth, sword, famine, and great confusion. For many of them that dwell upon the earth shall perish of famine, and the other that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy. So that's what you get. That's what we're getting ready to see. Okay. The storehouses. Right. 2 6. And 22, and suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown, and the full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty. And the trumpet shall give a sound, which when every man heareth, they shall be suddenly afraid. At that time shall friends fight friends one against another like enemies. Shall friends fight one against another like enemies, and the earth shall stand in fear with those that dwell therein. The springs of the fountain shall stand still, and in 3 hours they shall not run. Because once this hit hard, for real, like it's about to, it's going to cause electrical power outage. And in the water and everything we know is considered to run life, all right, to operate life, is based off the grid, the electrical grid. Once the electrical grid go down, therefore there goes your food, therefore there goes your water, there goes your supplies, and there goes your stability. So therefore, chaos is the only option. And that's what the order app chaos, order out of chaos, bring in the order, allow the troops to gather the people, set barracks, okay, set up the people, set up the checkpoints, the issue out of ID, because everybody's considered an terrorist now, okay, an enemy of the state. Stop. So issue out a digital ID, a tracking system, and make it a part of reality. And the only way they can operate in reality is if they have this tiny technology in their hand or their forehead. This can go like tomorrow, you know. And this is what we're looking forward to. The storehouse being found empty. Hard times ahead. And can you smell what the Trump is cooking? Lord willing, this lesson was edifying to give all honor and glory and from the praise and worship to our power again. YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, HAQADASH. Now, God honors to our apostle, Earl Bishop, Great Millstone, peace, citation to the hopeful life. Till next time, hey, Mwah, ball, bye, ball, shalom.